The writing that we've seen in the videos so far has all been designed to last forever. We've seen funerary monuments where somebody's tried to commemorate their deeds, and we've seen big inscriptions set up by cities to celebrate their laws. Here we have a totally different kind of writing, and I'm with Anna Judson, who's going to explain what it's all about. Okay, so Anna, what do we have here?
Well, these are actually replicas of clay tablets that are written in a kind of writing called Linear B. And that's a very early form of Greek. You've seen in the other videos text written in the Greek alphabet. This is about 1,000 years earlier than any of those, and it's written not in the alphabet, but in a script called Linear B.
And how does it differ from the Greek alphabet?
So the Greek alphabet has 24 signs, each of which is a letter, like A or B. Linear B has about 90 signs, and they don't represent letters, they represent syllables. So each sign stands for something like pa, or ti, or mu.
So you put the syllables together to create a word rather than lots of different letters?
Yes.
Okay, so what information do these 4 tablets give us?
Well, this one is a replica of the largest Linear B tablet that's ever been found, and it's just a list of people's names, people who must have been working for the palace in some way.
Yeah. So where do we see the actual names?
Well, so the tablet's divided into 3 sections listing people at different places. So the top section is people at Knossos itself, up here. Knossia means at Knossos. And then what follows is a list, and all it is a person's name. So here we've got somebody called Petekia, for instance, and then if you see this symbol here, it looks a bit like a stick figure drawing of a person. That's exactly what it is. It's the symbol that means a ban.
Yeah.
And then it followed by this little stroke that looks like a tally mark. That's exactly what it is. It's the number 1. So we have a person called Petekia, and he's a man, and there's 1 of him. Yes.
Yeah.
And then at the bottom of the section here, there's a total. I mean, this is to make it easier to count. When you're counting up, you can go through and just count the number of strokes, or you can count the number of symbols.
Just in the same way that we do a tally chart.
Yeah. So then at the end, it has the word tosso. That means total. Then the people sign again, and then that says 31.
Okay. So what does this tablet tell us?
So here you have a list with different kinds of ideograms. This is a list of animals. We've got sheep, goats, pigs, and cows.
So are these the number of them marked afterwards?
Yeah, these are the numbers. So these are actually split up by gender. This is a male sheep.
How many male sheep are there?
There are 60 male sheep.
60?
60.
Okay.
And then here we have female sheep, 270.
So a small tablet like that is why you need the signs for different animals?
Yeah, absolutely, because if you had to write out male sheep, male goats, female goats, it would never fit on the tablet this size. But this way you can have one symbol and you can see instantly how many of each you've got. We've got 60 male sheep and 270 female sheep.
What does this tablet tell us about the world as a whole?
All of these tablets are just lists of people and sheep and food, and you might think there's not a lot that you can learn from that about society in general. Why this one's interesting is, again, it's a list. It's a list of quantities of olive oil being sent from the palace. It's the sign that means olive oil. But it's not people who are being given this oil, it's gods and religious places. So here, there must have been a sanctuary of all the gods. It says all the gods are receiving some olive oil. Down here at the bottom, the priestess of the winds is being given oil. So we know that there was a cult of worshipping the winds in some way.
So from that we're getting an idea of what kind of gods people are worshipping, and from that understanding a little bit about their beliefs.
Absolutely, and we know that we don't know much about their rituals, but we know they had rituals that in some way involved offering oil to the gods as a gift.
What about if we put all of these tablets together, how do they help us understand the world as a whole?
Well, if you put them all together, you can start to find out things about, for instance, how much land the palace must have controlled, because you have lists of place names and you can work out where some of these place names are. You can start to see, if you read between the lines of the tablets, a little bit about what's happening beyond just the day-to-day administration. What's the sort of reason behind that administration?
So these tablets survive completely by accident. They survive because they were burnt when the palaces were destroyed. And when you look at them now, in isolation, just one at a time, you see a handful of signs that look quite hard to understand. But when you put them all together, you can begin to see how this world was all interconnected. You can see how trade functioned, and that's what makes the writing on these tablets fascinating.